Hi everyone, so is it worth learning to drive? I thought about this the other day when I made a video about is it worth being a driving instructor anymore, and I thought, you know what, I've never thought about is it actually worth driving at all anymore, full stop. So in this video we're going to take a look at some things you need to consider if you're thinking of learning to drive in 2023 and beyond. And is it a case of driving lessons or just driving less? Well, let me go over some of the things you need to consider, because it's never been more difficult to learn to drive. What you've got to think of is, first of all, the driving test waiting times. Now, if you don't know, the waiting times have been bad for years, and currently you're looking at a minimum of 6 months to even get a test. That's if you can even get one, because it's hard to even get them at all. If you get a test and you get to it, there's a chance you might not even be able to do it, because the examiners have been striking for a long time over pay and conditions. And even if you get a test and you get to do it and the examiner's there, instructors will soon be striking because of new rules coming in, which mean that, quite simply, I've done other videos on this, if you fail a test, your instructor could face being retested or lose their job. So it's never been more difficult, and it's like you're fighting against everything. And on top of all that, you've got the whole thing about electric cars coming in. Is it even worth learning in a manual car now? Because there's that car ahead, the manual, chucking out tons of pollution. Do you think see that on the video? But is it worth it? Because with electric cars coming in, is it even worth bothering driving? I rarely drive at all. In fact, the reason I'm out and about now is I'm having to take my car for a spin because it hardly ever moves. And I'm just going to go down the road, which I know is a dead end, so I'm not going the wrong way. It's just I've not been down here for years, and I just wanted to see if something's still here. I used to teach one down here years ago, and there was an old abandoned car, and he never moved in the whole time I was teaching them. And it's finally gone, so I was just checking that. But yeah, I rarely drive, and people are often surprised when I say that, because people have this idea that all driving instructors are petrol heads and we love cars and driving and all that. It's not true. I walk everywhere, and I sometimes get some hate from people saying, you know, you're evil, you're an instructor, you're polluting the earth. I hardly ever drive myself, and when I teach people to drive, I will teach them, you know, things I don't drive in city centres. If people say to me, can you teach me in the city centre? No. Why? Because I don't recommend even going there in a car. There's no need. I'm very much for electric cars, because it's going to get at this junction, because I don't see any problem with them. I think there are issues with them, but a lot of why people don't like them is because of silly reasons, like they don't make as much noise and you can't hear the engine, and it's just stupid stuff. Well, who cares about that? They haven't got a handbrake. Someone once said in one of my videos, I'd never have an electric car because you can't do handbrake turns in them. Yeah, well, you're not really meant to be doing handbrake turns, are you? So that's just something people are having to think, is it worth learning? Because the whole thing about going electric, going manual, is it worth it? Do I wait and just learn in an electric? So at the moment, hardly any instructors have got electric cars. I only know of one in the whole of Birmingham. There probably are more than that, but I've only seen one who's got an electric car. So yeah, I would love to go electric. I'd love to know your thoughts now. If you're a learner, would you go electric? And just in case you don't know this, going electric means, you might just say, well, why not? It means if you pass in an electric car, you can only drive automatic cars or electric. You can't drive one like this, which is in a manual car with gears, whatever. You can't drive those if you pass in an electric car. That's the big problem. But is it a problem for you? I'd love to get feedback from learners, from new drivers. Would you care if you learned in an electric car? Would that be a selling point for you? My next car will be electric. I don't know when, don't know, what it would even be. But yeah, that's one thing to consider. Is it worth the hassle of all this clutch control? And just back there the other way, about half a mile behind me, probably end up going there, is the place. So I'm just concentrating more on my driving than my talking. So if I go quiet, I'm just prioritising my driving. Back there is where I filmed my infamous gas then clutch video, which a lot of instructors then copied, and that was one of the big kind of hits that got me really popular back in the day. Hundreds of thousands of views. But all that stuff is going. So is it worth starting to learn now? And I had someone pass the other day who said, check what's going on here. He didn't say check what's going on here. These people who passed a while ago, actually. He said, I'm pleased I learned to the manual because I want to be able to drive manual. And in years to come, I might be one of the few people that that can drive a manual. So I'm just waiting for these cars to pass. So, yeah, there's all that to consider. The waiting times, the examiner strikes, the upcoming instructor strikes, which will happen because they're just simply going to refuse to take people for tests. And touching on that point, a lot of people missed the point of that video that I made about instructors being monitored when they take pupils on tests, and if too many people fail, they could lose their job. People missed the point of that, and they said, well, it's good because there's too many bad instructors. That isn't the point. You're missing the whole point. It's not whether or not the instructors are bad. The fact is, instructors will refuse to take pupils on tests. You will not be able to do a test with an instructor. And everyone's saying to me, well, no one said that. They haven't said you can't go in your instructor's car. No. People are not looking deeply enough. Just going to open the windows, it's a bit warm. People are not looking into it deeply enough, okay? They're not going to come out and say, I'll do this up in case it affects the audio too much. They're not going to come out and say, we're stopping people from taking tests in the instructor's car. Of course they're not going to do that. But they're making it so the instructors won't want to take you for a test, to make it more difficult for you to take a test and pass and drive. And that is the theory, true or not. A lot of people left comments on my other videos saying, it's nothing to do with instructor standards or learner standards. They just want to stop people driving. Is that true or not? I'm not here to give you my opinion on that. I just put these things forward, and I'd like to hear your opinion. And if you wonder where I'm driving again, I'm just warming the car up because I've just got to sort of run in a bit. It's been sitting still for a while, and it's kind of going to be rusty, as it were. So just going for a little cruise around here. And yeah, I thought I might as well make a video. Is it worth learning to drive? This is where I taught many people. In fact, when I taught Lucy to drive from start to finish, that seems like a lifetime ago now. This is where we started off. If you haven't seen those videos, I taught someone to drive in a series of 42 hours of video from start to finish. And one thing I'd like to point out about that, this is one thing that sort of made me laugh. Somebody once left a comment for me saying, I've just watched one of your videos and you're a terrible instructor because you spend all the time just sitting talking in the car. That was the whole point of those videos. The idea is my pupils watch those videos between lessons. I just pull up here, so I was putting it like this, and I was maybe talking to the people for 10-20 minutes, and this person said, you're talking too much, get on with the lesson. Right, the whole point was that the pupils watch those videos between lessons, and then that saves us talking in the lesson. That's the whole point of all the talking in the video. And while I'm on this point, sometimes people have left comments saying you talk too much. So let me show you what a video would be like if I don't speak. Yeah, this is great, isn't it? It's really teaching people a lot. It is funny what some people say and think. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think about, is it worth learning to drive? Because I've seriously considered, is it even worth me having a car? Because I don't teach much anymore. I walk everywhere. I walk miles a day. Even in the rain, snow, sun, whatever, I walk pretty much everywhere. Is it even worth having a car and insuring it, paying all the other things like the road tax, road fund, whatever you want to call it? Is it worth it? Or is it time to just say, you know what, we don't need cars anymore? I mean, self-driving cars are coming in, so another thing to consider. Yes, they're going to be expensive to begin with, but like everything, they'll get cheaper. And is it worth bothering at all? I don't know. I'm going to go back, I'm going to go towards the end of the road. I want to finish the video off in a special place, as you'll see, like I mentioned earlier. So yeah, I'm just thinking what are the reasons there are for not learning to drive. I mean, the main one that people cite is the cost. I have done an updated video on how much driving instructors can earn, and I've made quite a few driving ones, but I've not released them because when I get around this is not an easy place to pass. But I can see it's clear. Yep, that's good. So yeah, it's not, I've made a lot of videos, but I'm not really releasing them because I think, I'm getting away from all this driving stuff. I'm doing my therapy work. If you don't know, I work as a therapist now. And I'm helping people overcome the fears and phobias. But even doing that, you can't win because some people have said that I am the devil because I am using evil hypnosis to do the devil's work, and I'm offending God because not only have I polluted his planet with cars, but now I'm working in league with the devil using hypnosis. So what you think of that is up to you. I know what I think of it. This road on the left hasn't been here long. That's quite a new road. That's where I made my emergency stop videos years ago. In fact, that looks very different to how it did. It was a quiet road when I made that video. It's all got new flats on it now, houses, flats, whatever. Speed camera on the right, notice it's turned away. They've been turned off for over 10 years, or just coming up to 10 years. Well, that road is like a dead end, yeah, it's like a dead end now. Anyway, so this is the point of, is it worth driving? I haven't been around these areas for a while, and I used to come around here every day. So it's quite weird for me to be seeing these roads differently to how they used to be. So I'm going to turn right here, and we're almost at the end of the video. I just want to go and finish in a particular location to show you this thing. So these lights should be changing. Yep, there you go. Still got it. Can still tell when the lights are changing. Going to position myself here. Roll. Gas clutch creep. So yeah, one thing I am thinking about doing, bit of news for those of you that have made it to the end, or maybe just skipped to the end. I have thought about kind of not being a driving instructor, but still making driving videos. So you don't have to be an instructor to make videos, right? I'm just thinking at the moment about my future. Is it worth being an instructor? Do I even need it? Well, no, I don't need it. Don't need the stress, don't need the hassle, don't need the money from it. So lots of changes potentially coming up in my life. Just going to see what's going on here. Bit of a bad view. Yep. Can just prioritise my driving. If I go quiet, I'm just putting more into my driving than my talking. So do you recognise where we are? Maybe not yet. What about now? Do you recognise it yet? In the distance? Yep, this is the spot where I made my infamous gas then clutch video. If I remember, I was parked somewhere around here in a petrol Fiesta, I think it was. And some people said in that video it didn't work because you lifted the clutch too quickly. That's the whole point of the video. Like, I do find it funny. I've been a driving instructor for over 20 years, been driving for about 25 years, and people were telling me you're lifting the clutch too quickly. That was the whole point of the video. Okay, people who teach us to just lift the clutch. I wasn't lifting it quickly, I was doing it. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to turn off the engine. So, hope you've enjoyed this video. There may be another one like this coming up soon, because not long from now is a very big date for me. It's a massive kind of date. It won't mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to me. And I might do a special video then, and that would be quite a good way to kind of round things off, as you were. But I'd like to know your thoughts on this, about the future of learning to drive, being an instructor. Should we get cars off the road? I know it's easy to say, oh, just get cars off the road. We have to think of the practical side of that, but then there is the environment side. We do have to think about the environment. It's all very well just saying, oh, environment, who cares? Well, you can see on the right there, maybe the pavement's flooded, and I don't know if it is all down to the environment or not. Climate change, cars, pollution, has it got nothing to do with that? Or is it all because of that, this climate change stuff? Is it just like an excuse? Is it all wrong? I don't know. But my own opinion is it can't hurt, to drive less, to have electric cars, to pollute less. People say they pollute more. If you don't know about that, there's been studies done which show apparently if you build a diesel car and run it for something like 10 years, that pollutes less than an electric car in its lifetime. Now, I can already hear people screaming, oh, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Right, these are just figures people come out with. But we do need to think about these things. So it's time maybe my channel will go in that direction. I'm not someone who goes campaigning, lying in the road, save the planet, that kind of thing. But maybe this channel will start going in that direction about, I don't know, about the environment, new kind of cars, electric driving, the future of motoring, I don't know. I will continue to run this channel. It will mainly be about therapy and overcoming your problems, but the driving element will still be there for the foreseeable future. So this video kind of went off on a tangent, as mine often do. But there you go. I just thought to come out, go for a drive, give you my thoughts. So I've had to do the windows up, so it's getting really hot, because sometimes when you have the windows down, you get people drive past playing music, and then you get like copyright stuff come up on YouTube. So anyway, I'll leave it there, but let me know what you think. Check out these other videos on the screen now. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.